run bys, even against banelings being set up a bit better. So that's a style that TLO really loves. And it's those shenanigans, all the stuff that he does, those little tweaks, that really makes him very unpredictable. And for Hyun to actually identify that this is a bit of an earlier expand, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Now, all that said, these kind of strategies that TLO might be able to employ, of course, especially with that +1 armor that we do know that he gets, these all involve TLO basically being aggressive and offensive out towards the map. Is this irrespective, perhaps, of what Hyun is going to do? Are we going to see Hyun try to do the same thing back? We see so many ZVZs, Kaldor, as you know, where the game settles into a rhythm where someone is the aggressor and someone is being defensive. Which way round is it going to be here?
It's pretty difficult to tell, especially since Hyun is usually a very aggressive player too. It depends very much on what kind of style they are going to choose now. Because one of the things that we see, especially like in ZerG versus ZerG now, is roaches, and even more roaches. And if one of the players tries to be aggressive early on, you can really work with that. We have a Spore Crawler for Hyun. He's trying to snipe that Overlord. He's going to try to move over, kill that Overlord, and he has actually a very good chance at succeeding with that. Yeah, he's going to get that Overlord.
Amazing. TLO very, very quick to move it away, but the Spore Crawl already planting.
Oh, is it? Yeah, he should get that.
And there we go. Very nice snipe off there. Great reaction from TLO, but not quite fast enough. And Hyun, just for a little bit, supply blocks TLO there and picks off an Overlord early game. Really frustrating as a ZerG player when it throws off your timings.
Yeah, it was also really interesting to see TLO immediately started the next Overlord when he saw the Spore Crawler moving. He didn't even wait. He just threw that down and he was like, okay, if I don't do that, I'm going to be supply block. I have to do that. I have to sacrifice the minerals right now. And a nice scout here by Hyun, by the way, going into the main base, scouting the double gas that has been taken here now. So Hyun actually doing a pretty decent job, and he's trying to snipe another Overlord, and he's going to get that. If you expose queens like this, it's only difficult if you're up against Zerglings, and Hyun is the one who builds 18 Zerglings now. This is something that he really loves doing. And with him taking 2 Overlords down, look at the minimap. There's nothing. There's no Overlord. He has no clue what's coming now.
That's exactly right. Taking out that Overlord, of course, potentially supply blocking TLO, but more importantly, means that our Team Liquid player won't know what's coming. Double evolution chambers are going to be coming down for him. He's getting ready to be defensive, but the Lings are already streaming across them. And, well, hey, Queen Spore Crawlers, why not, guys? Everyone's invited to the party.
Like, who needs gas? Hyun is looking at this like, who needs an Israel? That's slow Lings coming across the map. TLO doesn't expect that at all. Suddenly he's up against Zerglings here and is like, what the hell is happening? It's 31 army supply against 7. TLO has nothing. He has absolutely nothing. He has 3 queens and that's it. Look at those Lings. They're 30 on the map. They're going up against the queens in the main, in the natural. They're just taking down queen after queen. He has to fight with the drones. This is like Hyun with a build auto win. This is a beautiful build that he had there.
GG, and Hyun takes game number 1 in incredible aggressive fashion. We were talking about how he likes to be aggressive, but to be honest, that was pretty quick.
I mean, even if you see that coming, it's difficult to hold. If you don't see it coming, you have no chance whatsoever if you're not already prepared. And Hyun took down 2 Overlords. He had a double queen at the front. Their only purpose was to really move out, take down Overlord number 2, and with a Spore Crawler in the main base, he got the first one. That made sure that the entire map was dark for TLO, no vision whatsoever. And then Hyun was like, well, I don't even need gas. Slow Zerglings, moves across the map, and TLO at this point didn't even have a single Zergling. He had 3 queens, and that's it.
What TLO can take as consolation from that game, though, let's bear in mind, he lost to something he didn't see coming. He's reasonably confident when he loses or even wins against things that he did see coming, but at least that's not the kind of loss that completely mentally destroys you as a player. He's going to be able to go, right, that's pretty niche. I'm not expecting that again.
I mean, for Hyun, this is of course a great start. He has like 2 maps now to close the series out that would give him the first best of 3 win of the day. And of course also a good position in the group. Yep. For TLO, it makes things a little bit more difficult. Also, he doesn't want to go up against Bunny, which we talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always the danger of Zanster suddenly coming up with some builds that can take down Hyun, and suddenly we are looking at a potential 3-way tie in the group, which is of course then also pretty tricky to handle. But right now, TLO, I mean, he couldn't really do anything about this as soon as the Zerglings arrived. He didn't see it coming. So we have a big map coming up next, Foxtrot. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a different game, or at least that's what we're expecting here.
Yeah, exactly. We're in the game now, guys. It's a pretty big map. We should be seeing some different strategies out here. It's on Foxtrot and spawning in the top left-hand position. Currently 1 game up in this best of 3. This is to try and stamp a mark of authority on his group. Can he do it? Playing for Team Rocket, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hyun.
And starting down, cross position at the bottom right, we have the Team Liquid playing a second ZerG versus ZerG today. It was Team Liquid's TLO. After Snoot and Bunny already advanced in their groups as being the first placed, we have TLO now with a huge mountain decline, taking down Hyun now, and winning 2 maps in a row is not going to be easy for him. Hyun once again being aggressive early on in the last game, wants to of course do that again. Can he pull it off? I guess time will tell. TLO and Hyun not starting with an early pool. We're going to see more of a macro game.
Yeah, and, to be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to come out from these plays. A little bit more long-term this game. The Overlord placement for TLO now, he's got a couple more options on a much bigger map. It's a little bit less likely that we're going to see Hyun moving out with Queen to snipe them off. So as far as macro play is concerned, I think Foxtrot is more of a map that suits TLO's style. But that said, Hyun is Hyun. I mean, if there is a way to take your opponent out, how many ways does this guy have to take people out before the 10-minute mark? I mean, this guy, he's like that guy in the movie that can, use a spoon and kill someone from 30 yards away, man.
Yeah, I guess so. That's all one of the reasons why TLO has to be super careful and scout what's going on there. But I mean, as the build orders currently unfold in front of us, one thing that I want to put out once again is that for Gfinity, we currently have a new competition platform. Gfinity.net, they have a completely new website that is out there, so you should definitely have a look at that. There are weekly tournaments where you can participate. In general, there's a £30,000 prize pool every month for all the games that they are running. Starcraft 2 is one of them, so head over to Gfinity.net. You can sign up super easy on the website and then participate in tournaments. A lot of the pro players that are actually at this tournament here in particular participate in the weekly cups as well, so if you want to have a chance measuring yourself up against them, that's your shot. So Gfinity.net, create an account and participate there. Have some fun with your friends. And maybe you're going to meet one of the 2 players that we have in the game here.
Exactly. Incredibly straightforward. Create your profile and go. And very, very easy to use. And £30,000 each month does guarantee that there are a ridiculous number of pro players on site as well. So if you fancy mixing it up with the best of them, head on over and sign out. Of course, they brought you this fantastic tournament we have here at G3. And no doubt these guys will be playing on there a little bit later as well.
Yeah, now in the game, we so far have no gas taken. Both players are scouting with the Overlords. There's nothing too special going on just yet. We're going to see deviation, I think, in a bit. No attempted snipe with with a Spore Crawler. TLO this time actually being very, very cautious here with his own Overlord. Of course, on a map like this, you also arrive a bit later at the opponent's base, but you can really see that that Overlord is getting the hell out of dodge as soon as he sees the Queen or anything happening, not even trying to go on to creep. And this time he's also getting away.
He just went far enough to see that the gases weren't taken yet, though, inside the main. So basically mission accomplished. And hey, with 26 health remaining, that's about as close as you could possibly get as well. So a triple gas now coming down from TLO.
TLO with a lot of gas here.
One.
Cancel one? Okay, so double gas still, same for Hyun at this point. So one of the things that you can of course do in ZerG versus ZerG, which a lot of players attempt to, is just completely skip the speed for the ZerGlings, instead head straight into the road sheds. It's usually something that you are going to do when you are able to set up a wall. We have both of them starting to spread the creep forward a bit. And if you are able to take just down the double evolution chamber and the roach horn, you can block, you can wall, you can really hold it with the queens by yourself the time. One of the problems that you might run into with this is that if you use the roach warren as part of your wall, you expose it to a potential aggression later, and if your opponent snipes the roach warren, you will find yourself in quite a bit of trouble.
And the number of games that we've seen lost. Well, oh, hello, Creep Trimmer seems to be getting on his nerves just a little bit there. But the number of games we've seen lost where a tech structure does get taken out in the wall, and that's fine if it's just one single attack and you can just rebuild it and you gear up for the next engagement. But against players that are so aggressive that they're constantly streaming units across the map, you don't have that breathing room to actually go and rebuild. So that's something, in my opinion, against Hyun, he also has to watch out for as well.
And Hyun is going for speed for the Zerglings and the Roach run, so he's going for the Roach strategy now, whereas TLO goes into super fast upgrades. Speed upgrade also for the Zerglings, but he wants to go for the 1-1. And he wants to go for the one with the Zerglings. He also takes another base. He takes one of the gold bases on the map. Can attack it from behind the mineral line. It's a bit unlikely here to happen, at least for now. Once again, Hyun moving out to snipe Overlords. He's really meticulous about it and just catches another one. But for TLO, with the double upgrades that he has and the Zerglings, he can be very aggressive on the map, and he is going to try and put some aggression and some pressure onto the third base that we're seeing from here now.
The upgrade difference between the two players, of course, we've got the +1 melee from TLO, we've got the +1 missiles coming in from Hyun. So a fundamental difference in approach here. It looks like both players are going to try and get a bit aggressive with the timing of this, because Hyun is building an awful lot of lings in response to this. 22 just popped out, and TLO is going to see some opposition here in the middle of the map as he attempts to snipe off an overlord of his own.
Queens, that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. If you expose the Queens, there's always the threat of them being surrounded by Zerglings. In the last game, it didn't matter, it was too early, but here it really plays a huge role. Double Queen taken out, and we have the speed upgrade not done for TLO. He has to commit here. He has to fight. He can't run away. He's trying to do it on the creep, but he's losing a lot of Zerglings in the process. Just being hunted down by Hyun, that earlier speed giving him such a lead. Hyun in a great position now against TLO. And the German Zerg player is just racing back, trying to save his units, but this is spelling trouble.
Yeah, he's got 26 lings on the way, but they need to scramble to the position where Hyun's units are. Did a great job of picking up those two Queens. Got a third one by that hatchery as well. And TLO is hurting just a little bit, having to spend the extra minerals to rebuild those units. Hyun looking reasonably comfortable here, and the roaches are now starting to stream out. Can TLO get any counter-attacking damage done here?
Oh, I really don't think so. Maybe at the third base with a small force that he sends over, but the main base aggression is not going to do too much for him. I highly doubt that he will be able to take down that third base either. So this is starting to get very tricky for TLO. Hyun is in a good spot. Not only is he massively ahead in Harvesters with 55 to 39, but he's also in a great position with his army. Keep in mind that he has the 1-1 upgrades for his roaches, whereas TLO relies on Zerglings alone. It gives him more mobility. He can still be aggressive, but once you hit a certain amount of roaches, Zerglings just don't cut it anymore, and he knows that. He goes into roach speed and he goes into this attack upgrade, but he is already trailing far behind in this game.
Yeah, the play that we've seen so far out of Hyun just seems to meld together a little bit more as these Zerglings here try and do some sort of run by at the third. We'll be able to get a couple of workers, but not an awful lot. Getting the +1 attack for the roaches, like you said, Kaldor, is just a little bit later for TLO, whereas Hyun went straight in with the missile upgrades, and he's already started his +2. His timings at this point with those roaches are just going to be huge, and TLO is now on the back foot comfortably.
I mean, again, he gets another one. Those two Queens, they are very successful with that. I'm not going to lie to you, at this point, TLO is going to have a horrible time coming back in this game. On the other hand, against Zunster, he was also behind. He got a very good fight, was able to turn things around, but he needs something like this once again. He needs to have a good fight, a good concave, a good position, winning a fight, and then maybe coming back. That gold base is going to help him with the mineral income, of course. It's something that Hyun already spotted, but Hyun is massing up units now, and his army supply is already at 76 to 51. The roach numbers are 20-20, but it's the upgrades that come into play here. The better upgrades for Hyun, who is halfway done with a +2 attack upgrade, and he gets even now a macro hatch so that he has more lava available. Just crank those units out and send them cross-map.
And here we go. We can see the attack closing in towards the gold base location. TLO down 60 to 65 workers at the moment. Of course, the gold base helps a lot with that. But it is just so exposed right now, and Hyun's army is still about 50% larger than TLO's. That says no gold base for you, and TLO's going to find it very, very difficult to keep mining here.
Exactly, especially now we have 33 roaches against 24 in favor of Hyun. TLO about to complete the +1 attack upgrade, and that will mean that they're both on the same set of upgrades, but +2 is of course still underway. Here comes the fight. TLO, I don't think he can do this. There's double Queen for the injects as well. They're helping out, and the numbers of roaches are just absolutely incredible for Hyun. The opening that he got, that was so amazing. Like, his builds are so crisp, and it gave him that stupid lead that we have there. It's like, I mean, it's absurd how far ahead he is right now. TLO is just trying to find an angle here to get back into the game, but he can't even mine from his third base any longer.
No, he absolutely can't. Those two Queens are with the roaches right now. Those are the two that TLO got sniped off by the Zerglings earlier on, so he's looking at them going, wait, I remember those guys, and they killed off the Overlord as well. Hyun just going in now. It's not quite done with the +2, but it is going to be in a matter of seconds. He has the numbers advantage anyway. The army supply difference is now 40, and TLO, unfortunately here, is getting absolutely stomped in this engagement. There's no real other way to describe it right now. Hyun continuing to move in. +2 kicks in 3, 2, 1, GG.
Game over. Like, what a game by Hyun. That massive onslaught at the end, just like barreling through the roaches of TLO. There was no chance for the German player there. And that was just a dominant performance, man. That was really well played, good builds. Sometimes blindsiding TLO a bit, but that was very, very well done by Hyun, and just emphasizes once again what a great Zerg versus Zerg player he is.
That was definitely a statement of intent out there from Hyun. Of course, he might be quite confident against Zanster, but we saw some really good things coming out of him as well. No chances taken. 2-0, very, very dominant performance there. And TLO can at least console himself that he should be able, if Zanster falls to Hyun, to take second place in the group. But now it's out of his hands.
Yeah, Zanster is now, is of course watching this game, and he's looking at it, and he's like probably not going to be too happy going up against Hyun in such shape, because that's going to be the same matchup. It's going to be an incredible difficult task for him. If he gets really good builds, on the other hand, he might be able to pull it off. That would bring us into a three-way tie in this group. Yeah. And of course, another shot for all three of the players to advance. If Hyun is successful against Zanster, then we are in a position where Hyun takes first place, TLO takes second place. That would mean that Hyun goes up against most likely Stardust. And we would have TLO going up against his teammate Bonnie. Always a situation that you're trying to avoid. But that game, I mean, Hyun just dominant.
Yeah, it was just an incredible performance there from Hyun, and perhaps a sign of things to come as well. We've seen some great performances, of course, from the other players in this tournament too so far. We've seen MC, MMA play as well, and Hyun saying, hey guys, don't forget about me. And, I mean, he's looking pretty strong. So I think that's about it. We're going to wrap it up here and send over that series to the analyst desk to really pick apart what went on there.
Hello everybody, and we are back on the analyst desk. Now, Hyun has just showed us why he is second on the WCS global rankings. Guys, what did you think about that?
Well, it didn't really go as we predicted, did it?
Not even close.
Yeah, Hyun looked pretty solid in that series. It was fair to say that. I think it was pretty clear that Hyun probably studied TLO's builds in the Zanster series. He really played into it. TLO was kind of doing the same build every game against Zanster and against Hyun, so Hyun could really kind of take advantage of that. And in game one, we kind of saw that. He went for the... I guess it was a surprise build, but...
It was really clever, wasn't it? Especially with the Spore in there. I mean, we've seen that build before where it's like, I'm going to show a gasless build and then just bank slow Zerglings. You're going to assume there's nothing that can come out of you. You know, the Queens kill the Overlord that's spotting. The person kind of just shrugs their shoulders, you know, TLO does in that. And he goes, yeah, you killed an Overlord. I can't see what's coming out of your base. But what could come out? You can't have Zergling speed. You can't have Roaches. You've got no gas. And then all the Slowlings rock up. I think especially with that Spore Crawler down, that was like really, really smart. So you've normally got two Overlords out front. If the Queens come out, you can kind of dance them around, keep some vision. But with one Overlord going down at the start of the game, I think that was a really, really smart all-in.
Yeah, I agree completely. And the second one didn't help, obviously, with the follow-up. And then in game two, again, they both opted for the same builds. And I feel like TLO could have been in a pretty good position if he just kind of played a bit more reserved. Like, he showed his Lings when he didn't really want to show them. Obviously, Hyun made a big swell of Lings, and he has put on a bit of aggression before TLO kind of really wanted to fight. But the two Queens getting caught out in front there, I guess kind of forced the engagement. But I feel like TLO kind of just should have said, you know what, I'm going to lose these Queens, but I should just sit back, wait for my upgrades, and then just kind of overwhelm him with this big swell of Lings that I'm going for.
Yeah, I think that engagement looks really different. You know, Slowlings charging into the middle of the map to meet the massive Speedlings. I think if you've got them back kind of in the choke around your ramp, just waiting that extra 30 seconds till 1-1 finishes, suddenly you see the fight be completely lopsided in TLO's favor. And after losing the initial swell of Lings, you know, as well as the two Queens on the map, I think that's everything he'd put his resources into. I guess overall, kind of summing up the series, it's something where what I said at the start of the game, I really felt like TLO needed to take a little bit more initiative early on. He needed to mix up his builds a bit, and I think, unfortunately, he did pay the price on it because he did the same kind of gasless openings. Hyun came up with some very tricky build in game one, and it wasn't really tricky. It's kind of standard to do gasless into a big swell of Zerglings, but maybe TLO was a little bit tilted after that game one, reacted just not quite perfectly, and that's all Hyun needs. He's such a good player. He just closed it out in efficient, ruthless fashion.
Yeah, you never want to give a player like Hyun just a little bit more time on the board for that, and he'll make you pay for it. Guys, Thank you for joining us once again on the analyst desk here, Big. I'm sure we'll see some more of you maybe tomorrow as well.
I hope so.
There we go. Guys, we'll be bringing